My name's Mike, and I am an average guitar player just like you. Or at least I was before I was imbued with superpowers. That's right, the superpower of learning how to keep your freaking wrist straight. Change my pick. So you hear magicians say it's all in the wrist, it's all in the wrist. Well, guitar playing is all in the wrist. And there's a lot of bad habits you can build by bending your wrists at funny angles. If you just think about how the muscles in your hands actually work, you have muscles that pull your wrist this way, and then you have muscles on the other side that pull it this way. You also have some other muscles in there that control your fingers. You can feel them moving. You can feel those tendons and muscles contracting when you make a fist. If you bend your wrist this way and then try to move your fingers, oh, that smarts, don't it? And then if you bend your wrist back this way and try to bend your fingers, oh, it doesn't quite hurt as bad, but it's not comfortable. But if you have your wrists straight, you have free motion of your fingers. And you can do this at home. This is perfectly safe. Now, you have to keep in mind that when you put your hand on the guitar, none of these rules of physiology change. Your fingers still move the same way with or without a guitar neck in your hand. So if you want to play a C chord, just a regular old C major cowboy chord, it's really easy if you have your wrist straight. Your fingers are going to be more cooperative. Now, what happens if we play the same chord but bend our wrist? You'll see lots of beginners do this. You have the wrist bent at almost a 90-degree angle with the arm out in just this really unnatural position. It really hurts. Same thing if we bend the wrist back, grab the neck like this and bend the wrist backwards. And with that, like, I'm feeling strain in my shoulder. I can't play all the notes. It's just a mess. One of the main reasons why bar chords are so difficult for beginners is that nobody tells them, keep your wrist straight. I'm not going to give any medical advice here. I would just caution that if you don't want to injure yourself, that you don't contort your hands to play the guitar. It can be difficult to play certain things on the guitar with your wrist perfectly straight. The main thing is to just keep in mind, could it be straighter? If I'm playing a G major scale, could I do the same thing with my wrist straight? And that's the other thing. Besides bending your wrist one way or the other, the wider that you spread your fingers, the more difficult it is to move them. If you just let them relax, they move freely. If you spread them out, it's harder to move them. So if you want to play faster, if you want to play more accurately, you want to avoid big stretches, and you want to avoid bending your wrist. Now, we've talked about the fretting hand, but what about the picking hand? Does the same thing apply to the picking hand? And the answer is yes, it does. There are so many instructional materials, so many videos that tell you to pick with your wrist, and it is a terrible piece of advice. It works for some people, but it does not work for everyone. The most ergonomic way to pick is like with your wrist straight, and it's like you're twisting a doorknob. That's the best way I can describe it. It's like turning a doorknob. It's really difficult to demonstrate because there's sort of this optical illusion that'll happen if it probably doesn't even look like I'm using that turning motion that's coming from way up my arm. But that's exactly what I'm doing. And you might just need to sit around and just work on that for a while. Because it's probably going to be a very unnatural feeling when you first start doing it. But after a while, you'll realize, oh, I can play for a lot longer without my hands hurting. So to recap, keep your fretting wrist straight. You'll be able to move your fingers better. Keep your picking wrist straight. Turn like a doorknob. Don't do this stuff with your fingers. Those muscles will get fatigued really fast. Don't play with your wrist. Those muscles will get fatigued really fast. Play with the big muscles in your forearm. Well, I hope this has been enlightening and helpful and is helping you along on your journey in becoming a better guitar player. Now go forth, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and keep your dang wrist straight!